Scott, Jenn, I freaking hate you. So a couple of weeks ago, Retro Rivals, Scott tagged me with the honor of giving you guys my top 10 greatest games. So today, we have another tasty local brew. This is from 1623 Brewing out of Eldersburg, Maryland. This is the Nordic Haze Ipa. Full disclosure, once again, I have tasted this one before. It's very good. Still trying to get some time to get down to their brewery and check them out. This one is a 6.7% alcohol by volume. IPA, of course, my favorite type. This is a New England Hazy IPA. And it's pretty damn tasty. If you guys get a chance, if you're ever in Maryland, in the Eldersburg, Maryland area, check them out. They make a lot of really good brews. I've had 4 or 5 of them, I think, on the channel now. Definitely enjoy them. Definitely want to get some time to go down and check them out. A few channels that I picked out of my subscription list. Folks that I really love watching. I love watching all you guys. What the f***? You know? That's what YouTube's all about, right? It's about community. That's what it feels like it's all about anyway. So, anyway, I get to make some frenemies of my own. So here we go. So the first channel I'm going to tag in this challenge is This Round's on Me. Now, I'm going to go easy on you guys, and I'm going to say, go ahead and you guys can compile a list between the 3 of you if you like, or if you really want, you can go ahead and you can make 3 different lists for all 3 of you. But you guys are tagged in this challenge. Get it done. I want to see that top 10 list of games that you guys have. If you guys have not checked out This Round's on Me, definitely go over, check them out. They have some awesome live streams that they do. I believe they do Wednesdays and Friday nights for their live streams. Fridays they do a really cool, like, themed live stream. Really cool. I wish I was off every Friday night so I could actually watch them, but I only get a chance to catch them once in a while, but they are awesome. This Round's on Me. You guys are tagged in this top 10 greatest games challenge. My second channel that I'm going to tag in the challenge is my buddy JD over at Everything Retro. Great channel. If you enjoy my content, if you are subbed to me and you are not subbed to Everything Retro, you should be. Because he and I do a lot of the same type of content. We do unboxings, we do top 10 lists, we do all kinds of stuff like that that you guys will definitely enjoy. Go over, check him out, check his channel out. And JD, I expect to see this top 10 list. The third channel that I am going to shout out for this challenge is a channel that I've been subbed to for a few months. I really like the type of content that he does. He does a lot of retro stuff. Very cool. He does one thing that I've seen that I really enjoy is that he'll put 3 games up and he lets the folks in the comments decide which game he's going to like check out and review, play next. Okay, so his name is Dad Racer. Go over and check out Dad Racer if you haven't. Really cool channel, really cool guy. Love that retro stuff. If you like that Sega Genesis, that old school Nintendo, old school Sega type stuff, you will love his content. The fourth channel is Ink Northerner. Paul, I really want to see your top 10 list. I think it would be really interesting. I try to catch as much of your stuff as I can. I try to catch all of y'all's stuff as much as I can. But, Paul, I want to see this top 10 list, okay? I'm going to try to tag you somehow to get you to notice it so that you'll do this. The final channel that I'm going to tag for this top 10 greatest games is Mike over at the original Next Level Gamer. Now, Mike, I love your live stream. I try to catch it every Thursday that I'm available to do. He does a really cool one. If you guys have not seen it, he does a lot of actually cool live streams all the time, but they do the NLG show, the Next Level Gamer show, on Thursday nights. If you guys have not checked it out, go over and check out his channel. He's got a good following, but the chat is like on fire every Thursday night for that. A lot of really cool people, a lot of really cool channels. Go over, check him out. But Mike, I know you're going to watch this. Please put up that top 10 list so I can see it. All right, so moving on from the channels I've tagged to the actual games that I've chosen for my top 10 list. I'm going to take forever on this, so I apologize in advance. I'm drinking. I'm probably going to take another beer break and get another one because I'm going to be out of this.
A 10! A 10! A fucking 10!
Dragon Age Origins and the expansion pack because you can't have enough of it. I probably spent 100 hours or more probably with this game. Absolutely love it. It's a fantastic Western style RPG. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, do yourself a favor and check it out. Don't play like the sequels to the game. Play the original. This game is freaking awesome. It is a very deep RPG. Like I said, I spent like 100 hours. You play as a member of the Grey Wardens. You are recruited. You're a recruit within the Grey Wardens, and you are going to stop the Archdemon, which is in the form of an ancient. It's an old god in the form of an ancient dragon. So what else do you need to say about that? RPG, Western style RPG, super deep. You know, you're gonna fight a dragon. The fact is that this right here, it pretty much has everything you'd want for an RPG. You can grind, you can upgrade, you could choose your class, you could pretty much choose everything you want about your character that's within this game, and then you can go on through the game. It's really deep. There's like so many there's romantic companions, which is like, I mean, like who didn't go through the game and like try to like bang all their different romantic companions? I mean, come on. That's what games are all about, right? Number 9. What more can you say about the original Halo? This is the game that actually turned me on, probably, just like a lot of you. I know it's probably not the first-person shooter, but it's definitely the one that made me love the genre enough to continue playing them. Fantastic game. Really, the game that made the Xbox. I mean, what more can you say about it than that? Fantastic. Like I said, it's not the first game that I owned for the Xbox, but it's definitely the best game that I owned for my original Xbox.
He slimed me.
Ghostbusters, the video game. Now, this game right here, I wanted to try to kind of make my list a little different, but there are also games that I absolutely loved. And this game I played through more than one time. So what can you say more about a great game than if you've played through it more than one time? I played through this one years ago. I actually borrowed this game from a friend of mine, a co-worker of mine. He had it. We actually swapped off games, I think. Like, he took like a Call of Duty game that I had, and I took this one. What a fantastic game this is. If you love the original Ghostbusters movies, the original first 2 Ghostbusters movies, you will freaking love this game right here. I played through it a second time with my son. He's 10 years old now, but he was really into the Ghostbusters for a little while. He absolutely loved this. This is I don't know, this is like Ghostbusters 3. If you've watched the first 2 movies and you've never played Ghostbusters, the video game, you have to. If you love the Ghostbusters franchise, you have to check this game out. It is freaking awesome. Great game. Now, I've never played it. I know they made it for like the PlayStation 2 as well. I've only ever played it on the PS3. I think they made a remastered version of it on the PlayStation 4 as well. But definitely check this one out. I don't know if it's any different for the 2 or the 4, but if you have a chance, check it out on PlayStation 3. This is a great, great game.
Make 7 up yours.
I go back to this game over and over again. Years later, WWF No Mercy. Now, if you watch my channel, you understand that I am a kind of a Nintendo and a Nintendo 64 fanboy. There are 2 of my most nostalgic systems. I absolutely love those 2 systems. Maybe they don't always hold up to modern day gaming, but they're just games that made me who I am. So, No Mercy. There were 4 games that were made for the Nintendo 64 by THQ and ASCII, I believe is who also made them. ASCII. Whatever. I may be wrong in that, but whatever. I'm a dumbass, so look it up for yourself. But this one is the top one. Like, it's such a deep. You have all the roster from the WWF from back in the day, like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind, all those fantastic wrestlers. But you can also make your own wrestler out of it, and that's what I did a lot of times. But the 4-player multiplayer madness that you get out of this, you'll never get it anywhere else. Like, I don't play a lot of online games. I'm an old guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, maybe I'm not like the best judge for online gaming and stuff like it, multiplayer gaming, but for couch co-op, you will never, ever go wrong with these WWF games, WCW games from back on the N64. No Mercy is the best of them. It's so deep with the customization, you can't go wrong with it.
My family and I are looking for sex.
Violent.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Now, this game is another one that is a fan-fucking-tastic RPG. I'm not a Star Wars fanboy so much, but this was another game along with Halo on the original Xbox that made me think so much more of the system than, you know, everybody owned a PlayStation 2, but not everybody owned an Xbox. But if you're going to own an Xbox, you have to get this game right here. If you're a fan of Star Wars, if you're a fan of RPGs, you have to get this. The fact is, you can play this as a good guy, a bad guy. You can play it somewhere in between, but just an RPG in the Star Wars universe
Is also number 5. That's right, folks. They're number 5.
So moving on to the top 5. As you can see, my whiskers are a little bit shorter, and that is because I was having a little too much fun as I was recording this, and honestly, I did not feel like I did justice to the top 5 games. So here we go. We're going back to the drawing board with it. Number 5. Number 5, we have a series, and I'm going to cheat like hell with these top 5 in there. And the series that I have chosen here is the Fallout series. Now, I am a huge fan of the Fallout series, have been since Fallout 3 came out, way back in on the PlayStation 3 Xbox era. The Fallout 3 and New Vegas definitely have a far deeper story, but they're very buggy games. Fallout 4, they remedied the bugs in the game. I really didn't run across anything that was game breaking. Unlike these, you had to save all the time in order to not get stuck and lose your progress. But Fallout 4, they remedied it, but the story wasn't quite as deep and as meaningful. I'm going to have to go with the whole series, though, just for the simple fact that even though the first 2 games had a better storyline, New Vegas had far better humor and dark humor, I would say, in it, then Fallout 4 was a little bit more vanilla. But this game was pretty deep in itself in the fact that it had a crafting system and a building system. You could build settlements out. I actually did quite a bit of that, spent a ton of time in it. And I know a lot of folks will probably say that these were a bad choice for a top 5, but they're my choice. I spent plenty of time playing them, and I've really enjoyed them. I've enjoyed the Fallout universe and the lore and everything that they've built around it. So that's my number 5.
Cuatro.
I told you I was going to cheat. It's Red Dead Redemption. It's hard to pick between the two. Obviously, though, if you're going to just jump into the series, you should start with the first game. There's a lot of nods to the first game from the second game. Grand Theft Auto was Rockstar's big franchise. In 2010, they decided to release Red Dead Redemption, which was kind of a spiritual successor to Red Dead Revolver, which I've actually never played. I'm going to have to check that one out myself sometime. But this game here, sorry about my lighting, this game's a masterpiece. You guys, if you've never played this game, you've got to check it out. Open world, Grand Theft Auto style of game, but it has a lot more heart and soul in the story. The story, you're John Marston, you're kidnapped and forced to track down your old gang of outlaws by the Bureau of Investigations in order for them to return your family safely to you. He's a great anti-hero. You just got to play it. You got to, if you never have before. And definitely follow it up with a playthrough of this game. Rockstar took everything that was great about this game and they made more of it. Another great story. This is the story of the actual gang that you're hunting down. So you've got to check that one out if you haven't. Grand Theft Auto in the Old West, Red Dead Redemption. That's my number 4.
3, oh, it's the magic number. Yeah, it is. It's the magic number.
So the number 3 on my list goes back to one of the most nostalgic systems from my childhood, probably the most nostalgic system from my childhood, and that is the NES, and it is Super Dodgeball. Yeah, I'm just joking with you guys. It's not Super Dodgeball. It's actually made by the same company that made Super Dodgeball, which is a really fun game, but it is actually River City Ransom. Now, River City Ransom is a beat 'em up. It's like with some action RPG elements involved in it. It's kind of even I don't want to say completely open world, but it is a more open world than a lot of the linear fighters. It has the same kind of fighting style as a game like Double Dragon does, which I do absolutely love. It didn't make my top 10, but it's definitely one that I'm nostalgic for as well. But River City Ransom, you go around, you play as these two fellas, and at the moment I forget what their names are. Alex and Ryan, that's it, Alex and Ryan. So Alex and Ryan, you go around, you're trying to get your girlfriends back. They've been kidnapped by the leader of a bunch of gangs. You fight your way through the city. You can move back and forth through different screens. The fighting elements, as I said, are kind of the same as Double Dragon. You punch, you kick. They attack you from all sides. You could pick up like chains and brass knuckles and trash cans and stuff like that and beat your enemies with it. And you move back and forth. A really cool element to it, though, is the action RPG type of element. You can, as you defeat your enemies, as you beat them up, they drop coins, and you pick the coins up, and once you have enough coins, you can go into stores that are along the way, along the streets, and in those stores you can buy like health boosts and different kinds of boost items that are in the stores, along with like books and stuff that you can buy that increase your ability to do different kind of techniques while you're fighting, which just makes you stronger and stronger until you work your way through and you get your girlfriends back. But if you've never played this game, honestly, I gotta recommend it. If you're a fan of the beat 'em up genre, this one's a little bit different than a lot of the others. It's just not a straight, walking across the street Final Fight Double Dragon type thing where you're just beating the crap out of everybody and moving on from scene to scene. You move back and forth through the game. It's a little deeper, but I don't want to call it a hidden gem by any means, because it's really not. I'm sure a lot of you know about it, but if you haven't played it, definitely give it a go, especially if you love beat 'em ups. That is my number 3.
It's number 2.
So for my number 2, it's another series. Now I know it's kind of been a pattern in my top 5, but I have not played the second game yet. I've only played the first, so I can't speak to the controversy. Some folks love it, some folks hate it, but the first game was a freaking masterpiece, and that's The Last of Us. This game, everything about it is perfection. I think it was like it scored like a 95 out of 100 on almost every critic's review of the game back when it released. I actually picked this game up, and I think I had it, and I had it like as a sealed copy. I tend to do that with a lot of games. I'll pick them up when I see them on sale or something of that nature. And I had it, and I think I had actually already gotten a PS4, so I'd even had some PS4 games. It was the end of the PS3's life cycle, and I just happened to pop it in, and it was amazing. Like, honestly, the PS4 didn't exist. It was all about the PS3 for me when I put this game in. The art design is amazing in the game. The game controls so perfectly. And really, honestly, all those things are excellent, but the thing that makes this game stand apart from most of the other games that are out there has to be the story. It's the story of the journey that Ellie and Joel take, and the relationships with other survivors and what they go through as they make this journey. It's just amazing. It's an amazing game. It's my number 2.
Sorry, one, but there could only be one number 1, and that one number...
So we finally reached the top, the pinnacle of the list. Another tough decision to make. It's a franchise, but I have to choose one of the two from the franchise. Love both of these games. Probably be hated for my decision in this, but the franchise is, of course, The Legend of Zelda. Much love for almost all the games within this series, but I picked my 2 favorite. Now, I know a lot of folks say Link to the Past, and don't get me wrong, Link to the Past is an amazing, amazing game too. But I just went by like games that how they struck me at the time when I first played them, how they grabbed me in. And honestly, both of these games, Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild, both drew me in. I couldn't put either one of them down when they came out. This one released in 1998. This one released in 2017, 19 years later. They went in that 19-year span. They made plenty of other games, but they made a masterpiece back in 1998, and they made a masterpiece in 2017. So many elements from this game were used going forward with all the other Zelda games in the franchise. Who knows where we would be without Ocarina of Time? Absolutely love it. Like I said, definitely one of my favorite games of all time. But truthfully, I almost have to give the nod to Breath of the Wild. Now, hear me out. The reason that I do is just because the modern open world concept seemed like it fits the Zelda perfectly. Now, Ocarina of Time, you had your 3D, it was the first 3D element, but it wasn't a completely open world. You could move around as you wanted to, but it wasn't quite the same feeling as this. In this game, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you can go anywhere pretty much within that map, right? That's the only spot you can't go out of. If you see a mountain in the distance, you can go there. If you want to climb that mountain, you could climb it. If you want to search around, you'll probably find some kind of treasure or some kind of quest or something within the middle of it. A lot of people didn't give Breath of the Wild as much love as other titles because they didn't care for the dungeon setup of the game. It didn't have true dungeon setups. It's with the shrines and the different puzzles, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I 100% in this game, and as a guy of my age and my attention span, I don't typically 100% any games. I play them. I like to get through the storyline, but to go back through and play every element of this game, from the main storyline to all the side quests to collecting all the oddball pieces of armor and different things of that nature, to doing the master sword quests, that's what makes this my number one. Absolutely love this game right here. You got to check them both out if you have never played a Zelda game. And I think some folks said Jen over there at Retro Rivals hasn't played any. Obviously, Link to the Past is an amazing game, and Scott is not wrong in telling you that. But these two games right here, fantastic games. And if you're going to start with a Zelda game that you've never played any of them, and you kind of like the modern systems, you're going to absolutely love Breath of the Wild. So that makes my number one, although I kind of say they're both my number one because I have so much love for both of them. That's it. I finally made it to the end of this. I'm sorry that it took forever to get here. It took me forever to make this video, honestly. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I don't get too much hatred over my list. And if there's some of these games that are on this list that you guys have never played, you should definitely check it out because these are good games. All of these are really good games. So you will not be disappointed with any of them. Till next time. Cheers.